Good evening, fellow conspiracy theory connoisseurs, fellow PSYOP noticers. So, in 1 hour, apparently Trump's going to be giving an address to the nation. And I'll be honest, my anon senses were tingling with this one because in his announcement post for his national address tonight, he started it with my fellow Americans, and he ended his post with the best is yet to come. And this announcement's going to be on December 17th. So I was getting all excited. Wait. Let me backtrack. Not that excited. I have learned, and I hope we have learned by now, that let's not get our expectations up for anything, but just a wee bit. I got just a wee bit excited. But I saw John Solomon report this morning that he was going to be talking about the affordability crisis. And then I saw other reports. I think even Tucker Carlson said that he was going to be telling the nation that there's going to be official strikes on land targets in Venezuela. So I don't know. I have no idea. But that's going to be happening in 1 hour. So we'll watch it live. I'll go through all the topics for tonight's show as fast as I can because I have a bunch of topics to cover. And then we'll watch that address. And knowing Trump, he'll be fashionably late. 15 minutes late, probably. But it is an address to the nation, so he might be on time. So we'll move quick. Also, just something I was thinking about this morning. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but are we kind of noticing the noticers here? It seems like there's a ton of influencers descending into the political space. Sometimes they brand themselves as Patriots or MAGA or America First or whatever it is. But they seem to all come out during the COVID years, like the height of COVID. All these influencers came out and they built their platform, their following, their brand on, I'm a PSYOP expert because I noticed all the truth about COVID. So I'm awake, aware now, follow me, I'm a patriot, I exposed COVID, and now they're adjusting their content into the political arena. And I don't know if maybe they're well-meaning, just not well-versed on the depths of these matters, the actual depths of conspiracy theories, or maybe they're straight shills. I think some of them are straight shills. I think some of them, it's like their ego gets to them. Because since they think, oh, if I saw the truth about this global PSYOP, I must be a PSYOP expert now. And nothing out there can brainwash me. It's like their ego's getting to them. They think they can't be brainwashed at all. And yet, they're either falling for and or promoting tons of PSYOPs. Tons of PSYOPs. They're very black-pilled, and they're very conspiratorially superficial. So just be aware. Be on the lookout for that. And anyway, topics for tonight's show. I do want to talk about that MIT nuclear physicist that got murdered at his home in Boston. The nuclear fusion plasma physicist. Got some questions about that. I'll be honest, I have Candace fatigue, so I will not spend that much time talking about Candace tonight, but there is some stuff to talk about there. Rob Reiner, we'll touch on him. A little bit on the Australia Bondi shooting. Of course, with internet news commentary, I guess that's quote-unquote old news by now. Anything prior to 48 hours ago is old news at this point with the way internet journalists go, right? But a few new things on that. Jews and anti-Semitism. We'll talk about, right? We'll notice the noticers. But I guess quick note on that. It is very acceptable, and you can very well do this, both criticize the Israeli government while also not blaming everything on all the Jews and saying all Jews are evil. You can do both those things at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. You can criticize Israel's government and not blame all the Jews. You can also criticize Islam and not say that all Muslims out there are evil. Also not mutually exclusive. You can do both those things at the same time. Criticize Islam, but not throw every single Muslim out there under the bus. I've met and talked to and known and worked with a couple pretty darn decent Muslims and decent Jews. They weren't evil folks. So it just doesn't seem like some of those influencers out there can do those things. It's all black and white to them. And then some stuff on the Epstein files and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff we'll talk about too. So let me hang out in the chat for a sec before we get into it. What up, y'all? Poopy Butthole, my man, my mod. Still here, still modding after all these years. Number one in the chat. Hell yeah. Glad to see you, Poopy Butthole. And I'm glad that your account handle hasn't changed. Poopy Butthole says, to me, they're all feds until they prove otherwise. You know what? That is a great mindset to have these days. Shill until proven not guilty. Indeed. Good evening from Big Sky, Montana. If you don't mind, can I ask where you're at? General region? I spent a lot of time in Montana when I was a kid. I had and have a lot of family out there, so I spent time all over. Billings, Helena, Kalispell, Plentywood, Havre, like all over Montana. Love that state. Hope you're doing all right now. Big windstorm going through there. I'm aware. The Northwest just getting shit on by the climate change. What do I think of Brandon Dilley? I think he's okay. You know, he blocked me on Twitter. Once upon a time, he claimed that I had faked a trip I took to Mar-a-Lago. I actually went to Mar-a-Lago 3 years ago. Real cool story. I won't get into it. But he claimed that I faked photos that I took there when I legitimately went. So I love and hate Brendan Dilley. He's a dick, but he's a lovable dick. But once upon a time, he directed his dickness towards me. So, you know, I'm still a little salty about that, not going to lie. But I think he's all right, to be honest. I wish he'd unblock me on Twitter. You always figured that I was a Fed too. Yeah, I got resting Fed face. I don't blame you. And what's up, you guys in the Rumble chat? Welcome, Pilled fam over there. By the way, morning Pilled streams are coming back tomorrow. Just letting you guys know. 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're bored, if you need something to listen to on a drive or at work, come hang out in the morning on Pilled with me. I'll drop the links on Telegram, Twitter, True Social before I go live on Pilled so you can find them. But yeah, I'll be doing the morning hangout, morning research, morning Pilled streams over there. Let's get into it. Starting off, though, with sponsor of today's show, that is My Digital Money. With the way inflation and currency devaluation is going, smart investors are turning to Bitcoin not as a gamble, but as a global hedge backed by major funds, banks, and even governments quietly stacking digital assets. Just look at the U.S. and what the government of the U.S. is doing with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Pretty amazing. After reaching an all-time high of $124,000 in October, Bitcoin has pulled back. Many see this as the perfect opportunity to invest before the next uptrend. In fact, I believe it's going to pull back a little more. So not quite yet, but soon. Soon will be a very good buying opportunity, in my opinion. When you invest with My Digital Money, you'll get U.S.-based support and secure offline storage. They'll show you how to do it so your crypto stays protected. It can be a very complex topic, cryptocurrencies, and they'll help you out, simplify it for you. You can even open a crypto IRA or roll over your existing 401k to enjoy valuable tax benefits. Don't let inflation steal your future. Protect your digital assets and grow them today with My Digital Money. You can go to jordansathercrypto.com, link down below in the description. They have a free crypto investment guide that you can download, get a little taste of what they offer, and they can show you what to do, offer you tips on good times to buy, how to safely and securely store your coins. Link in the description below. Okay. Epstein files coming maybe Friday. maybe Friday, Epstein files will be released. We were hearing it's going to be a searchable database on a DOJ website, so we'll see. Most of me thinks that this will be not much new information, and then those influencers out there, kind of the ones I was talking about earlier, they will then blackpill the shit out of everybody and say, pretty much blame the government and blame Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. That's fully what I expect to happen. Mostly a nothing burger. Simplistic thinking influencers out there will say, oh no, they're hiding something, and they'll, cause a big commotion over it. But we'll see. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's some new dumps in these. I'll tell you what, I really hope Rachel Chandler's name is in there. Even if there's not much new information or new names, if one name is in there, Rachel Chandler's, that would actually be huge for a lot of reasons. That would be the ultimate Q proof. That would really light the fire under a lot of internet influencers' asses to start digging again and sharing actual deep, detailed research about the Epstein network that's, for the most part, already out there. But a lot of that research was done in like 2019, 2020. So it's just like a lot of old threads that got lost to the algorithm and got lost to the sands of time, if you will. There's actually quite a bit of information already public about Epstein and his network and what they were doing with the MC2 model management and Rachel Chandler's connections, how they groomed their victims, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I hope Rachel Chandler's name is in there. I've been waiting for an Epstein document or something to go public and then really light that up. But we'll see. I don't know. Again, no expectations for any of these things. Dan Bongino announces he is resigning from the FBI in January. President Trump confirming this. Trump essentially saying, like, he wants to get back to his podcast. I don't know if that's the real reason. Remember, Dan Bongino was having some health issues a few years back, cancer, I believe, and then from what I remember, he had beat that cancer, but I can imagine his health is not the best, and all the stress of the job, it was probably way easier for him to do his podcast. And also, he was making a lot more money, I'm sure, doing his podcast. So, Dan Bongino was in there for a year. Maybe he did the work that he was supposed to do, or it's just getting too stressful for him, or whatever the case. I am hesitant to believe what a lot of these internet influencers are claiming about Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi. Part of me is entertaining the idea that they're all ineffective cucks, sure, but another part of me is also entertaining the idea that there's plenty going on behind the scenes I don't know about, and give it some time, and Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino could turn out to be proven to be amazing. So, something that I am giving it time to form a belief about. But nevertheless, Kyle Seraphin is one of those who claims he's a reformed Fed, but as Poopy Butthole said, they're shills and feds until proven otherwise. And honestly, I haven't seen enough from some of these people to prove to me that they aren't shills. But you got a lot of those folks that are just going to town on trashing pretty much the whole Trump administration. A lot of Trump's picks, that's for sure. Another one of those picks that a lot of people are trashing is Susie Wiles. And again, I entertain multiple possibilities, and as the evidence comes in, I do not see that evidence with a bias. I throw that evidence into whatever bucket that it looks like it should go in. So, is Susie Wiles a great pick or a bad pick? I don't know. Evidence comes in, I see which one I throw it in. But that evidence can always change which path you're thought process goes down as well. Apparently, Susie Wiles gave an interview to Vanity Fair, like a few interviews to Vanity Fair. And Vanity Fair came out with these headlines that, of course, trashed Susie Wiles and were spinning some narratives about Trump's cabinet and what's really going on in the White House. Alleges she made shocking remarks about Trump, Vance, and others. But Susie Wiles came out, called it all fake news. They put a big spin on it, and a bunch of Trump's cabinet and officials in the White House came out and were calling Vanity Fair fake news and all that. But at the same time, why, Susie Wiles, would you give them so much access for so long? I think I had read that she gave them almost a dozen interviews, something to that effect. I don't remember the exact details, but like a long time, spent a while with them. And what would you expect from this, right, Susie Wiles? But at the same time, there could have been a very coordinated plan. Like, Susie knows that she's going to be spending a lot of time at Vanity Fair, so Trump and his team could have planned some disinformation that Susie would give Vanity Fair, and who knows? I don't know, but that's the deal with Susie. With Susie, a great pick, terrible pick. I am aware that once upon a time, Susie Wiles was working with Benjamin Netanyahu and Ron DeSantis, but she could have very well have been infiltrating those camps. I had seen reports that Susie Wiles left the Ron DeSantis camp not in good spirits, as well as Susie Wiles leaving her work with Benjamin Netanyahu and maybe some beef between them. So who knows what Susie Wiles was actually doing. All we see is just what's put in front of the cameras. Now let's get to the MIT professor. So, Nuno Loureiro. God, I'm probably butchering that name. Let's just call him Nuno. 47-year-old physicist and fusion scientist. He was a professor at MIT. He worked at MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. And murdered at his home. Died at the local hospital. Fatally shot at his home near Boston on Monday night. This is his profile on the MIT's website. Fusion, plasmas, nuclear fusion, quantum engineering. He was born in Portugal. Then he studied in the UK. Came over here to America in 2005. Went to Princeton for a couple of years. Went back over to Europe. Came back to America, MIT in 2016. And he's been working at MIT for the last 10 years in a variety of departments. So pretty up and up there on the nuclear fusion research. Now, what actually happened there? We're going to be featuring Laura Loomer here for some pretty unhinged posts of hers over the last few days. Laura Loomer, in Laura Loomer usual style, is trying to spin this into he was a Jew and some Muslim killed him because he was a Jew. I haven't seen anything on this guy being Jewish. Laura Loomer says he is reportedly Jewish and pro-Israel. Okay. Where was that reported? What's their evidence that he was Jewish and pro-Israel? I haven't seen anything. And since he was born in Portugal, that would, if he had any kind of religious affiliation, Portugal is mainly Catholic. Quite a conservative Catholic country. If he was religious, I would say he was probably Catholic. But he was also hard into physics and science, and he went to MIT. So most likely he was a secular, more agnostic individual. If he was religious, probably Catholic. But we have nothing to gauge that on. I have no idea what. I think Laura Loomer is just spinning a story for her own bias here, for her own narrative. She suggests it's the same shooter as the Brown University shooter. We'll get to that story in a little bit, but that's just, She's just asking questions, right? Just asking questions. Yeah, some questions are retarded and are dumb. Anyway, though, on the topic of Israel tying into this MIT scientist that was murdered, the Jerusalem Post reports Israel examining possibility Iran involved in the murder of nuclear scientist in U.S. When I see Israel trying to blame Iran for anything, my instant thought is Mossad did it. Must have been Mossad. But we have nothing to go on there. Even this Jerusalem Post article admits that Israel has no actual evidence for this. They're just asking questions as well. Nothing to go on here with this. I do find it notable that there is a race to nuclear fusion right now with multiple countries and companies as well. China is just at the tip of getting nuclear fusion operationalized. The U.S. is, Iran and Israel and the U.S., they got all their nuclear stuff that they've been beefing over for a while. So could it have been a foreign power, whether it was China, Iran, Israel, if there was another country or their intelligence agency involved in taking this guy out? Could have been any of those countries. Could have been some U.S.-based globalist group that did not want to see, whether it was science, whether it was nuclear fusion related or plasma physics related. Maybe not at all. Maybe it was a random shooting. Would have been hella coincidental and very random. Because, with taking an energy researcher out, with how many energy researchers have been taken out over the decades. Granted, most of the time, the energy researchers that are suicided or suppressed, they're 0-point energy researchers. And this guy was not. He was not a 0-point energy researcher. Nuclear fusion is a mainstream acceptable topic. It's discussed in the mainstream. Mainstream companies are actively pursuing it. So, but with nuclear fusion being, who knows? Chat asks, was he working on 0-point energy? As far as I know, no. But some of the stuff he was working on could be related to it. Maybe. I saw Zach Voorhees, the Google whistleblower on X, post that he actually dug up a 4-year-old video of Nuno, of the MIT scientist Nuno, and some of the science, much of it goes over my head, but he was basically diving into magnetic fluids, plasma physics, fluid description, looking at Maxwell's equations. So some of the stuff that he was digging into could have been related to ether type physics. So maybe. But as far as we know, mostly nuclear fusion, which is more mainstream-esque research. But yeah. Just going through some of the comments here. Yes, Trump will be speaking at 6 p.m. Pacific, approximately 35 minutes. So we got a lot of stuff to go through here. Rob Reiner. Insiders say a Reiner family fight erupted at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party less than 24 hours before his murder. And then his son apparently just snapped, I guess. I don't know if his son was taking some kind of hormone blockers or on drugs, probably drugs, as well as street drugs as well as pharma drugs, SSRIs or tranny drugs or who knows. But kid snapped. And I guess, lo and behold, the Obamas were supposed to meet with Rob and Michelle Reiner on the night of their deaths. Whew. What an
odd thing to say.
That's, yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it? What a quinky-dink. This Trump post on Rob Reiner triggered like 70% of the internet, liberals and conservatives both, just kind of giving Rob Reiner a little shit for his Trump derangement syndrome. Do I support this post? No. Does it bother me? No. I can totally understand where Trump's coming from. There's a lot of conservative influencers that really went to town with their self-righteous virtue signaling over this post. It's tasteless. It's shameless.
This is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
It's tasteless. Oh, how could he? I thought they wanted mean tweets back. They all wanted mean tweets back, but when the mean tweets come, they get butthurt. I don't understand. Especially when you look a little bit into Rob Reiner. Like, here's Liz Crokin here talking about how Rob Reiner is... She's suggesting he could have been one of those Hollywood groomer types. And maybe his son was even abused at some point. Yeah, I mean, when they say the loudest have the most to hide, Rob Reiner has been screeching for years against Trump. And I just found this out this week. I didn't realize Rob Reiner went so hard on the Russiagate stuff years ago. He literally helped spearhead a foundation called Committee to Investigate Russia, doing short films here with John Brennan and James Clapper. And Rob Reiner was trying to get Trump thrown in jail and impeached. And if they were successful, they would have found Trump guilty of treason, and who knows what would have been the outcome of that. But, dude, I mean, shit, when you really start digging into Rob Reiner, Trump was probably being nice in this post. There is so much more Trump coulda, woulda, shoulda said, but he didn't. This is probably nice compared to what Rob Reiner deserved. And I don't know why, like, as soon as someone dies, we're supposed to be super virtuous and only say nice things about them. Like, let's put it this way. If somebody was trying to get you thrown in prison for years for something you didn't do and lied about you for 10 years straight, would you be mad? Would you be upset if they had died? Let's also put it this way. If I was a sick, psychopathic son of a bitch and I died, I could understand if people out there, like, weren't upset about me dying. But that's, of course, because I have a little bit of empathy. Psychopaths don't. But just, you understand the situations I'm trying to get us thinking into. So, right? Yeah. I don't know. I understand Trump's sentiment, so this post doesn't bother me. But you had a bunch of virtue signaling conservative cucks out there, cuck-servatives, who were mad about this. Whatever. Spare me your righteous indignation. Candace fatigue. Yeah, I'm afflicted. I'm sick with Candace fatigue. Candace Owens shares details of her private meeting with Erica Kirk as they attempt to settle their feud. I guess we'll see if that feud will get settled. Candace basically like doubled down on a bunch of her claims. Kind of adjusted some other of her claims though. And a lot of her followers, I saw some comments on her video. A lot of her followers were upset. Like the mob, the Candace mob she created. Bunch of them were upset at her for, I guess, holding a private meeting and not, I don't know. I don't exactly know. But Candace was going to town like, oh, I brought my own water, but I didn't want to drink the water because I thought it was going to be poisoned and All this stuff, man. Wild. And then I published a video about this yesterday, if you guys saw it, but I'll talk about it again here. So, our bro Kanakoa the Great on X, breaking news, face reveal from Kanakoa. This is his first YouTube video ever. Check it out. That's our bro there in Hawaii, Kanakoa. And, man, I remember when Kanakoa got started online. Those are the good days, man. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. Kanakoa was in our We the Media group for a hot minute and was into more like the Q Anon type information, but then he kind of went off and did his own thing and got more mainstream with his reporting, which I'm not saying in a derogatory way. Like the investigations he did to a more mainstream audience were great. He got Elon Musk to share his stuff and got himself 1 million followers. He's done great. But he went more of like a mainstreamy path. Although in this investigation, his first YouTube video ever, he dug into Candace Owens' Egyptian planes. And he straight up recreated her spreadsheet on his own and then purchased a $1,000 subscription to Flight Radar 24, and he cross-referenced every single one of Candace's plane claims, and he found that 66% of Candace Owens' Egyptian plane dates were straight wrong. A good amount of the time, the plane was on the wrong continent. So whatever tip Candace Owens got from, I don't know, did she claim it was some inside Fed that gave her the tip, or her Instagram moms that sit at home all day and just binge watch her videos? Are they the ones that verified this information for her? All her receipts were wrong. Not only were 66% of her planes wrong, but my question is, how did she supposedly verify Erica Kirk's location to then claim these Egyptian planes were in the same place as Erica Kirk 73 times? How did Candace Owens supposedly know exactly where Erica Kirk was for like 3 years straight to then claim these Egyptian planes were in the same location 73 times? The Egyptian plane thing is just retarded. It's just retarded. And props to Kanakoa here for doing the hard work and spending the money just to legitimately dig into it. And then, hilariously enough, during Candace's stream last night, she didn't say anything about Kanakoa's research, but she didn't backtrack, but she did state that, I understand my spreadsheets are confusing, so I'm going to create an interactive, she said like an interactive map or interactive new spreadsheet about the Egyptian planes to further prove her claims. Like, bro, it's wild what some people believe and how she has drawn in some folks. Chat says, I wish he was still posting on Telegram. I'm not on X. I don't blame you. I actually prefer, well, I like them both in different ways. Telegram is better because you can follow the channels you want and you don't have an algorithm to mess with you. So I like to be more personable on Telegram. I will post probably 80 to 90% of what I post is the same on all platforms. Truth Social, Telegram, and Twitter. Those are the three main ones I use. I also use Instagram a little bit, but I'm speaking in terms of the messaging apps. Telegram, Twitter, Truth Social. 80% of what I post on those three is just copy and pasted. It's the same thing between all of them. But Telegram, I'll open up a little bit more there and get a little more personal. On Twitter, it's more shit posty, because I know there's more that's like to the world. Telegram's posting to the family. Twitter's posting to the world. And then Instagram is its own thing over there that I post on. So if you want to go follow me on any of those, there are a lot is the same. There's some different. Instagram's quite different because that has photos and videos and stories and all that jazz. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to put in a good word with Kanakoa and see if he can post on Telegram a bit more. One comment suggests that Candace Owens is the most obvious controlled opposition ever. I didn't say that. The comment did. I'm mostly into anti-social media. I 100% get it, man. Got to take a break from this bullshit now and again. Bondi Beach is pronounced Bondi. Take it from someone who lived there for a few years. All right, mate. We'll go to Bondi Beach in Australia. That's the only reason it's pronounced Bondi. It's because you're Australian. Here in America, we say Bondi. Pam Bondi Beach. Let's see. Was that typo on the murdered scientist video title on purpose? I really hate when people do that. Probably not. My bad. I'll go change it. I don't trust Candace Owens or Erica Kirk. I didn't say that. That was a comment. But honestly, I don't know either of them. So I'm not going to trust them. I don't know much about them. I'm not going to put my trust into people just because they say something I agree with. People and their emotions, man. They think with their emotions on social media too much. And that is a oxymoron, thinking with emotions. They just let their emotions lead them. Oh, I like Candace Owens. Why do you like her? You don't know her. Why do you like her? You don't know her. Yeah, I don't trust either of them. I agree with that. Do I trust the plan? My question would be, what exactly is the plan? That's a complex answer to that question, but never trust the TV. I'll agree with that one. But unless you're watching me on your TV right now. Next, Brown University shooting. Oh, hold on. One more thing on Candace. I saw this post from Dom Lucra. You know, anybody that gets up to 1 million followers, except Kanakoa, you gotta start wondering what they're all about. And anybody who starts an X post with breaking, just in, or holy shit. That reduces my trust in their content by about 69%. If I see breaking, just in, or holy shit at the very beginning of any post. Anyway, he claims Candace Owens fans are turning on her, claiming she got the call and sold out after meeting Erica Kirk and retracting a select few statements. Many of her followers are also starting to claim independent journalist Ian Carroll is the last truth teller left. Well, first off, that's an assumption. Assuming Candace or Ian is independent. And last truth teller left. I find it funny that people like Ian Carroll or Candace Owens and a variety of these new influencers, and by new I mean within the last 2, 3, even 4 years since COVID, right? I haven't seen Ian Carroll lose any platforms. Or Candace Owens. Candace Owens, has she lost any social media platforms? Have they been censored by big tech at all? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Please do. I don't know. Good question. Brown University. So to say they're the last truth tellers left, that's just a retarded statement. There's a lot of solid truth tellers out there on the internet. They aren't boosted by the algorithm and astroturfed engagement. So usually they have 10, 20, 30,000 followers, maybe 50, 100 tops. But once they get to like the 1 million mark, then it's like, okay, Why does the algorithm like you so much? Why do you have so much apparent engagement? Is it real organic engagement? How come you've never lost any social media accounts in your life? Right. Brown University shooter still at large as bizarre anomalies mount in the investigation. Multiple dead ends leading to so-called persons of interest. Like there was that one guy, what was his name? Ben Erickson or something. He was detained for a hot minute but let go. Although before he was let go, half the internet started spreading his name and his face all over, calling him the shooter. Turns out apparently he wasn't the shooter and his life was basically ruined. Then local authorities there at Brown University, they're not, like, it's such a shit show. Local authorities there are either compromised or they're just so woke that they won't say what the shooter said, even though apparently the shooter shouted Allahu Akbar. And they're not putting out surveillance footage. They're saying they don't have it, but they clearly have it. And they're saying they do have the footage. They're just not putting it out. And now Brown University is blocking people on Twitter who are calling out their wokeness, basically, their non-admittance of this maybe being a foreigner, or I don't know. It's such a mess. Here's the FBI images of our latest suspect. Big beer belly, mask on, of course. I imagine he didn't have the mask on because he's a lib. He probably had the mask on because he very well knew he wanted to hide his face. Also the beanie on, gloves in a couple of these photos, so didn't want his prints anywhere. I mean, black tactical looking boots too. This guy could have knew what he was doing there. Not so he might not have been a random ass shooter, but and a livid reporter just torched Providence, Rhode Island officials, accusing them of taking down cameras at Brown University to protect illegal aliens under sanctuary laws. They abruptly shut down the presser because he was dropping too much truth.
The camera in that building, they drum put off because the sanctuary city law.
The City of Providence's experience is the same, which is that Brown has been entirely cooperative and collaborative and fully sharing with us. We will be back here tomorrow once again.
Just a mess. Also, on the Australia shooting, Australia is doubling down on gun control after the massacre at Bondi Beach, despite already having some of the world's harshest gun laws. They're blaming the gun laws, not blaming the frickin' broken immigration system. Also, some of these curious details, how there were just like 3 or 4 officers there. Information's coming out, photos showing the officers cowering behind cars and holding their hands up and just being cowards. So ineffective cops with no training, but also, is this real? Was the Bondi Beach police station literally a 3-minute walk from the shooting? I think the actual location of the shooting was more so around here. I think this is actually the that like path walkway they were on. But still, like 7-minute walk, probably 600 meters or so, 500-600 meters. How come the cops didn't show up for like half an hour? Stand down order given somewhere. Sounds very Uvalde-esque. Seems to be a repeating pattern how the local police forces are just getting bad information or told to stand down while the event's ongoing. Then you got that hero bystander. Hero bystander turned out to be Ahmed El Ahmed, who was Syrian, and I believe he was Muslim. For all intents and purposes, a lot of reports coming out that he was Muslim. But again, you got your Laura Loomers out here who are just twisting the story for their own bias, their own narrative. She's claiming he was a Christian. He wasn't even a Muslim. How dare you say that all 2 billion Muslims in the world aren't all evil people? Gosh, she's crazy. Loomer out here even calling for the JDL, Jewish Defense League, to come back in every single city. The Jewish Defense League, if you don't know about it, it was classified as a terrorist group by the government because they would actually conduct, like, it was basically Antifa for Israel. Like, a very far right, fairly extremist Jewish group that were conducting, like, attacks. So for somebody upset about Islamic extremism, she now wants Jewish extremism to combat that. So she is becoming exactly what she hates. That's what I notice about Laura Loomer all the time, is that she will complain about something and then be or do exactly that. It is, yeah, wild. And speaking of my Jews, Alex Jones goes off on what he calls fake Christian right-wing patriots who think Jews are to blame for everything.
Because I worry about you guys. It's not the criticism I care about. It's about you. I will literally post, oh, look, Chernobyl's leaking again. We've got a problem. Or, oh, look. It's like, why are you covering up for Jews? Or, oh, man, this hurricane sure devastated this area. Please donate. Jews.
So he's complaining about the Jews folks. But then he does this. Nick Fuentes joins me live. I'm just noting the hypocrisy. Like, I agree with Alex Jones. The people that blame everything on Jews, but Laura Loomer out here is trying to blame everything on the Muslims, huh? It's just why it's so dumb. The whole truth-seeking alternative media world is retarded from all angles. Yeah, I agree. Some of the people that blame everything on Jews just go way too far, and they're becoming schizophrenic. But at the same time, InfoWars has literally platformed and helped support and create some of those influencers that blame everything on Jews. Nick Fuentes, Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes were there January 6th together, mind you. Stu Peters. InfoWars helped platform Stu Peters. You've had Ian Carroll go on InfoWars. Myron Gaines go on InfoWars. Some of these, like, when I saw that statement from Alex Jones, I'm like, holy shit, the hypocrisy. So many of these Jews influencers, InfoWars has done a lot to help platform and amplify. So no. Yeah, same old psyop folks that many of us outgrew. I watched InfoWars and Alex Jones for like a month in 2014. And one of my coworkers at the time, way back then, old job I used to have, they pointed me at one of Alex Jones' documentaries, and I tried watching some of it. And I went to the InfoWars website. That was during the FEMA camps days, Jade Helm days. It's like everything Alex Jones was screaming about was we're all going to get rounded up in FEMA camps and taken to the Walmarts. They're going to turn the Walmarts into FEMA camps for all of us. And they've got coffins that they're shipping to these Walmarts. It was just wild. The sensationalism turned me off almost instantly. It wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah. Alex Jones did talk about the spraying early on, but a lot of other people did too, you know? I wouldn't say a lot of other people, but others did. Just because Alex Jones talked about something doesn't mean he's a great person. You know, that's the way disinformation agents work, is they have to tell the truth to garner your trust, to rope you in. And then it is the the hypocrisies and the little bits of spin that they throw in there. Just like this. Claiming like, oh, how dare these people blame Jews for everything? They're going too far. Yeah, that's true. But what aren't you saying, Alex Jones? You're giving these people platforms. So, clickbait. And on the topic of the people that blame Jews for everything, they're almost the people that from Israel's perspective, from the corrupt elements in Israel's government's perspective, all the insane anti-Semitic Jew blamers out there, why would Israel not love them? I bet that Mossad and Israel, whatever else, I'm not blaming all of Israel here, I'm blaming the corrupt elements of Israel. I bet they love these Jew-blaming influencers. They love them because that's exactly what gives Israel the precedent, and all the corrupt Jews out there the precedent, the excuse, the justification to call for their anti-Semitic free speech laws. Barry Weiss, the new editor-in-chief of CBS, says something needs to be done about social media in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder, claiming widespread distrust of the government's shooter narrative is causing brain rot. She says social media is allowing these ideas to spread, which is dangerous to our democracy. Oh, there you go. Benjamin Netanyahu says Western governments must make immediate changes to stop anti-Semitism from spreading amid the terrorist attack in Australia. There you go. Like clockwork. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Problem, reaction, solution. Hegelian dialectic right there. Do you understand? The people that blame everything on the Jews is exactly what's giving them the excuse to call for cracking down on free speech. Holy shit. Amazing. All right, quick mid-show break here. I know we got Trump about to take the stage in a few minutes. I don't have much left to talk about in this show, but some of the things I might have to not get to. Anyway, just want to remind you guys, our friends over at Oneness Drops, onenessdrops.com, link in the description below. Buy one, get one free on their website with code BOGO Jordan. Oh, it's still up there. They're writing. Code BOGO Jordan until December 31st. So, chlorine dioxide kits. They've got, what else? Mullein. They got a few herbal extracts on there. Mullein for your lungs, soursop for regeneration and cell regeneration and DNA. They've got DMSO as well. My DMSO is better priced, but if you do there, buy one, get one free. That ends up being a better price with the sale. Chlorine dioxide kits with citric acid, hydrochloric acid, whichever one you want. Everything's buy one, get one free with code BOGO Jordan. BOGO Jordan on their website. Or you can use the link in the description below. All right, let me see if I can find... Let me go to Rumble here, see if I can find a link to Trump addresses the nation. Let's go to RSBN. They should have a decent feed. Let's see if he's up.
150.
Nope. They are stalling. Okay, while I stall and they stall, one more quick. I just want to make sure I get to this. If any of Oneness drop stuff doesn't float your boat, the chlorine dioxide or the other things they have, you can support my brand, Conscious Strength. I have a lot of stuff on there. Methylene blue, greens powder, oregano oil, electrolytes. Thank you to Colonel Towner. She gave me a shout out for my oregano oil. Highly recommend this. Jordan has amazing products. Thank you, Colonel Towner. I was posting about oregano oil the other day. I'm a big fan of oregano oil. Pretty good stuff. Pretty strong stuff. And then shout out Abby, our Badlands friend Abby. She was giving the electrolytes some props today. She's been going on a keto diet, gave a recipe for Keto Aid, and also said that she's been using the electrolytes I have during her keto diet. That's cool. Also, coming soon, new launch, I'll be coming out with a vitamin C. Plant-based, food-sourced, whole food vitamin C from acerola cherry and omelet berry. Hibiscus, goldenrod, rose hips. This just came in today. So, new launch coming very soon, probably later this week. Let's see. Trump has not taken the stage yet, so let us go through our last subjects. Trump says that his administration is about to release truckloads of evidence proving the 2020 election was rigged. He also highlights California and Newsom in California, saying it's a rigged election. Coming soon. You don't have to prove it to us, but you do have to prove it to the courts, and that's what's important here. Breaking over the last day or so, I believe Congress released the FBI gave documents to the DOJ, I believe, proving that Biden's FBI did not have probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago, but descended on it anyway. Yeah, again, we could have very well already guessed that, but it's important to prove it to the courts. That's what's important. And then Jack Smith was appearing on Capitol Hill on Wednesday. So, oh yeah, okay. That's exactly why the FBI released this now. Because that was just strategic. Right before Jack Smith was testifying in front of Congress. Makes sense. U.S. obliterates 3 more Venezuelan drug boats in the Eastern Pacific just hours after Trump designates fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Difference here from Iraq is that the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq were lies. In this case, we know fentanyl is a problem. That is a WMD that actually exists. So. And what's amazing is that fentanyl is not a Schedule I drug. It's a Schedule II drug. You know what's a Schedule I drug? What the DEA tells you is worse than fentanyl? Marijuana. The DEA tells you that marijuana is a Schedule I drug. It's worse for you than fentanyl. Fentanyl, Schedule II. Cocaine, Schedule II. Methamphetamine, Schedule II. According to the DEA and laws they created in 1970, cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl are better for you than marijuana. Trump is expected to sign an executive order tomorrow that would reschedule marijuana to a Schedule 3 drug. That is not legalizing it. Seeing a lot of people out there in the comment sections getting confused. That's not legalizing it, but that is reducing its classification that would open up universities and research institutes to study it. It would open up a lot of money for it to be studied, and they'd be able to get marijuana easier. And also, hopefully, it would cause banks and payment processors to stop fucking over CBD companies. I got fucked over by PayPal and Stripe before, just for selling a product. It wasn't even a CBD product. It just had a little bit of CBD in it, and I almost got banned from PayPal and Stripe. I didn't get banned. I got my accounts unfrozen, but almost got banned just for like a little wee bit of CBD. So hopefully banks and payment processors would be more friendly. But we'll see what the ramifications of this is. But very good thing. Very good thing. About time. Never should have been a Schedule 1 drug. Never should have been illegal in the first place. But out in Chile, big things going on in Chile. New elections there. They have a populist conservative president that really doesn't like communism. This guy will probably be good friends with Milei in Argentina. So big revolution going on there in South America. Can't say the same for Brazil. Brazil's a shit show with Delula. But good stuff in Chile. A lot of people out there, some folks in MAGA hats even, happy and supporting this new election. Waving flags. But you got a handful of protesters out there. Just a few. Your Chilean Antifa, basically. They're hitting them with water cannons. Yeah, man. Need more of that here. Ukraine news. Ukraine drops NATO goal as peace talks in Berlin extended. That was one of the reasons why Putin was pissed, is because 30 years ago, NATO said that they weren't going to expand eastward. And then what did they do? They expanded eastward. And Europe is freaking out. They're seriously freaking out that these peace talks might actually be successful and Ukraine won't join NATO. Globalists all over the world freaking out. John Bolton says that Ukraine needs to lower the draft age from 25 to 18 to get more manpower. This crazy bastard. He's about to be in prison. Look how stressed he looks, this walrus. And in the UK, those warhawks are really going to town with their warhawking. UK's sons and daughters need to be ready to fight, says head of armed forces. They straight up might have a freaking draft. They're trying to send their freaking kids to war. These people are insane. These people are insane. Speaking of insane warhawks, Mike Pence just being a bastard. Calling for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to step down. Mike Pence calls Kennedy a progressive wolf in pro-life sheep's clothing who needs to be kicked to the curb. And I guess this is all over some abortion drug that Pence once banned. It's like all this is over. Yeah, but nobody is forced to go get abortion drugs. You know what pharmaceutical drug people are forced to get? Vaccines. Millions of kids all across the country coerced and effectively forced to get vaccines. That's a much more important issue, in my opinion, is vaccines. Because with the abortion drugs, really that's an issue for parents just to raise their sons and daughters with better morals and values so they don't even need to or want to go get abortion pills. That's not a big deal. Vaccines are a far bigger deal. So that's just my opinion. Mike Pence, go get wrecked. Mike Pence, you know what? You are a...
Faggot.
Might actually be, too. All right. Trump's speaking.
In a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that If they build in America, there are no tariffs. And that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Because of tariffs, along with the just passed One Big Beautiful Bill, tonight I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call Warrior Dividend before Christmas, a Warrior Dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that.
They'll be happy.
Checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history. What a difference a year makes. In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called Most Favored Nation. And no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, TrumpRx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care. I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people. That's you. So they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better health insurance.
Sounds just like a rally.
The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited the green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds as their energy restrictions drastically drove up prices, and they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon. And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not very soon. Prices on electricity and everything else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream. The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see. The numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot, and mortgage payments will be coming down even further. Early the new year, and you will see this. In the new year, I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history. A major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected. And our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, kind of a nothing burger.
And God,
Unless you're in the military, then you got $1,776 coming to you before Christmas. But yeah. Big old grass-fed, free-range nothing burger. Unless you're in the Army or in the Navy or the Marine Corps or the Air Force. Awesome for them for sure. 100%. 100%. Oh, it's like right before Christmas. Some of them are like, shit, I wish I got that a couple weeks ago so I could have bought gifts for it. Anyway, guys. Yeah, I'll bring you some tunes. We'll hang out for a couple minutes. I've got to be careful with my music, though, because copyright strikes. Speaking of copyright strikes, don't I have a story for you? Dude. I'll show you in a sec. Let me get the tunes going. Want to see something crazy? Remember those weirdos I used to work with like years ago? David Wilcock and Corey Good. Gosh, I don't know. Part of me regrets ever working with them, for sure. And I am very happy that I ran as far away as I could from them 6 years ago now. God, 6 years. It's been that long. But it's still coming around to bite me in the ass sometimes. They're nonsense. Dude, I got hit with a copyright strike by frickin' Corey Good today on this YouTube channel. All the trailers for Above Majestic and the trailer for the Cosmic Secret film. Those UFO films that I literally have a production credit on. I have a production credit on Above Majestic. Go check the IMDb page. I am literally a producer on it. I literally did a shitload of work to put these films together. And it was fully accepted that I'd be putting the trailer to these films up on my YouTube channel for promotional purposes. Corey Good hit me with a freaking copyright strike today on him. It was probably AI that found my channel, but he's just going, he uploaded into the system clips of Above Majestic, and their AI struck me for freaking, isn't that retarded? Not only did Corey Good slither his way out of paying me royalty money that he owes me for Above Majestic, but now I'm getting freaking copyright strikes on a film I literally have a production credit on. And a webinar series that I hosted with Corey 7 years ago. Ah. Corey's a fraud, says chat. I'm not gonna disagree. Thank you, Renee. I've matured a little bit. Almost didn't recognize me. Happy I'm still around. I appreciate that. What's the worst with them? My answer to that would be the worst that I think a lot of these internet influencers act as or portray, and that would be the stories they spin to their followers. The persona. The fake, inauthentic persona that they give to the camera, that they give to the world, and that they hide their truth selves behind. They're just fake. They're just fake, and they spin stories. And we're seeing that all over the internet right now with all the drama around the Charlie Kirk thing and some of these America First people and a bunch of MAGA people too. And of course the lefties out there. I don't even focus so much on the lefties anymore because they're just low-hanging fruit. They're easy pickings. They're, it's crazy, deranged, brainwashed liberal. Oh, but honestly, it's the brainwashed conservatives that are, in my opinion, more, I don't want to say important to expose, but more important to be cautious of. Because they're the ones that act like truth tellers. I see past the matrix. I see the psyops. They're the ones really putting on a front and putting on these fake personas. And they use religion and they use politics and shit just to... They're still such normies. They're still still acting with such normie behavior. All the info on the internet is BS at this point. I wouldn't say all. A good amount of it, yes, but not all. Although, you have to understand that all that information has been given through a human. A human has been the conduit to put that information on the internet. And even if that human is incredibly well-intended, it will still come through some kind of bias. It will be skewed some kind of way. And ideally, you try to find the humans, you try to find the truth tellers that skew it the least. But just the simple fact that it came through a human means that it has been skewed. It has gone through a filter. Everybody has a bias. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this. I might even do a dedicated video on it, but a lot of these people that are falling for Candace Owens, I can completely empathize with them. So I think a lot of the people that are falling for Candace Owens are very new to waking up. They're very new to taking the red pill. Probably a lot of those people that just woke up during COVID. They're like neophyte red pillars. I was there about 15 years ago. And the person I looked up to was David Wilcock. And I ate all his shit up, man, when I was 2021. I ate all his shit up. And, man, I thought he was the most hardcore truth teller out there. And it took me a little while, it took me a few years to come to terms with that he's actually kind of deluded and just, he spins. Yeah, he tells some capital T truth here and there, but he spins a lot of shit. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking up to Candace with that same kind of they're very new to waking up and they come across Candace. Candace tells a good story. She's, talks real smooth, sensationalizes stuff, and they're roped into Candace. They're so roped into her. And that's exactly when I was new to waking up. I got roped into Dave Wilcock. It took me a few years, and I think it'll take these people following Candace a few years to start to realize, like, holy shit, I was blinded by her. And, you know, yeah, Candace puts a little bit of capital T truth in there now and again, but man, the way she spins it, she spins it. When's my birthday? It's in November, Scorpio. Serious question. What's my POV on AI being the Antichrist? I think AI is a neutral thing. Not inherently good or bad. It is simply a tool. And the important thing is how is the tool being used? I don't think AI is the Antichrist. I think AI can be used in a way that is like or symbolic of what we think of the Antichrist. Sure, AI can surely be used in evil ways, but I think AI could also be used for good. It's just a tool. So no, I don't think AI is the Antichrist. I think it is a tool, but the important thing is how it's trained, how it's used, how it is implemented. You could do good or bad with it. Chat said it's definitely humans flagging me for those copyright strikes. Yeah, maybe. Dal, I'm getting ready to let go of this waking up. Anons are going sideways. I'm tired of it. Yeah, I'm tired of it too, but it's just humans doing freaking human things. At the end of the day, the most important thing is just to focus on what you can touch. Directly what's going on around you. Like, people are getting so lost into scrolling on Twitter and Instagram that their lives are falling apart. Like, have you even drank water today? Have you gone to exercise? What's your diet like? Have you made your bed? Did you clean your house? Did you go hang out with some friends? Breathe some fresh air outside? Did you touch the grass? Did you do what you needed to do for your businesses or your projects you got going on, or whatever the case, right? I see some of these influencers who you scroll to their Twitter profile and you notice that their account was made in 2022 or 2023, so it's a 2 or 3 year old account, but then they have friggin' 200,000 posts on it already, which then you can do the math. Oh my god, that's 100 a day, 200 a day. Do you have a life? We got some people that, they're sitting there listening to 4 hours of podcasts a day from their favorite YouTuber, their favorite drama going on. Like, you got a life? Hopefully, go touch some grass and tend to your garden and lift some weights first, and then worry about that stuff. So Tucker Carlson got some bad info about tonight. That's right, he did. Oh, I'm going to run over to Twitter and give him some shit. Yeah, that's right. Well, Tucker was saying that Trump's going to announce strikes against Venezuela or something. Also, did Tucker Carlson get bad info about Candace Owens' Egyptian planes? I've gotten flack in my comments section over the past couple of days of people saying, you know, I've been calling Candace's Egyptian planes theory fake and lame, promoting the Quantico investigation. And I've gotten some comments from people, well, Tucker Carlson confirmed it. The fuck? What do you mean, how? Just sitting your ass in front of a microphone saying, well, it's true. That's not confirming anything. I think Tucker Carlson's getting some bad intel. Nah. History proves that anything can be proved by history. I like that one. Then the question is, who wrote the history? And how capital T true is it? Did you meditate? My meditation involves movement. I'm not a big fan of the static, you know, sit there and do your mudras and static meditation. I like active meditation, so playing soccer, running, lifting weights. Those are my meditations. Yeah, some of those martial arts like Tai Chi and Qigong, I kind of, you know, sometimes I'll, if I feel like I need to, I'll get into like a short stretch martial art movement routine sort of thing. No real specific regiment to it, but you could call it Tai Chi, Qigong-esque. I don't do that every day, but probably on the days where I'm not running or lifting weights or anything, then I'm just kind of, I get antsy. And I'm like, I gotta move, I gotta stretch, I gotta do something. Then I'll take 15, 20 minutes and do a Tai Chi-esque dealio. It's December and Trump has failed to stop the communists from taking over America. Yeah. He ain't our savior, man. I think Trump's doing great stuff, but at the end of the day, it ain't up to him. It's up to every single one of us. He can't fix what's going on in your neighborhood, your town. We each need to get active in some way in our own community. And again, focus on what you can touch. Your friends, your family, your neighborhood. That's it, right? If we just focused on our neighborhood, then things will get better way more quicker. And honestly, I'll give it a year or two or three to judge Trump's second term here. Four-year term, we're not even 1 year into it. Not even 25% of the way into it. Still a lot of time left. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I get the doomerism. But a lot of time left. Alright guys, any last questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Let me know. Otherwise, I've got food to eat, dinner to make, work to do, sleep to have. Threshold is 10 years from now-ish. Yeah, honestly, I mean, some of the fruits that could come to bear of Trump's even first administration, but second here too, they could come to fruition even after this administration's done for, even after this term. So I'm not judging so fast. Again, you could be all obsessed with what's going on in Washington, D.C., but still, like, just as important, if not more important, is your block, homie. Your street, your house, your hood. Mark from the Old State Saloon is sure stirring the shit. Yeah, he is. Respect to him. He is stirring some shit for sure. It's like I'm That's what I respect the most about people, is when they have courage and respect themselves. Like, they can, when they just don't give a shit and they're well-intended, they want the best for everybody, and they're courageous enough to step out there and say and do the unpopular things, but then also have respect for other folks that believe differently. Like, Mark will have people come in and talk. He'll talk to other folks as well that believe differently than him, but he'll give them a platform. He'll genuinely try to have heart-to-hearts or all that. And yeah, I might see some things a little differently than Mark, but like, to me, it's not about beliefs. It's about values and actions. Don't really care all that much about what you believe, as long as your values and actions are leading somewhere better, I guess you could say. Like, let's take the religious angle, right? Some Christians out there are just dumb shits. And they hide behind their religious book and they virtue signal, but really they're just some selfish sons of bitches. You got other religious folks, other Christians out there that are awesome, man. Like, they're really good humans. They just happen to have certain beliefs about religion and Jesus, and they're great. Same thing with some Muslims, man. I've met some Muslims in my life that are awesome people. Awesome. A dude from Pakistan, a dude from Iraq. I met some really good Muslims. But then you got some sick fucks out there that think they're gonna go get 80 million virgins in their next life by blowing up a suicide vest and whatever, right? It's whack. So it's just always wild to me that people are they get so triggered about just like these ideas. Not even physical things. They're not even hurt or harmed. They're just fucking ideas. beliefs, abstract things in our heads, etheric, ephemeral fucking beliefs. People get so upset or so addicted and so like obsessed with these beliefs they have. I just don't understand it. They get so like, ugh. I am this. This is what I believe. And then a belief causes them such a rush of endorphins in their body, a rush of emotion and endorphins, and such a chemical release in their body from some abstract fucking idea in their head. Wild to me. I don't know, man. It's just like, what if you're wrong? So I try to not become obsessed with beliefs. Always try. I'm not gonna let this abstract idea in my head cause such an endorphin rush in my body. Like, what a way to live. You're gonna let this non-physical, abstract belief, idea, concept thing, a thought, like, do that to you? Huh. Like, whatever it is, whether it's a religious thing or a non-religious thing, an idea about atheism or religion, or whether it's a political idea or an idea about a person, celebrity, or just whatever it is. Like, whatever it is. Any beliefs. Whether it's an obsession, a love, a fear, a hatred, I don't know. Do I have a plan for schedule with this channel? Monday, Wednesday, Friday live streams at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. First hour is news, commentary. Second hour is just me chilling. And then, yeah, that's the tentative live stream schedule. YouTube, Rumble, Pilled. Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening. Every morning, just on Pilled, I'll start it back up. Just hangout streams while I get ready for the day and research some things. So, pretty much it. Got some Substack articles I'm working on. Still working on them. They'll be out soon. And then I'll be shit posting to Telegram, Twitter, Instagram. Also, I need to start working on the Conscious Strength channels, getting some content on there. Health related videos to YouTube and Instagram and all that. I've been posting to Twitter and Telegram, but I need to get making videos. I haven't been quite as inspired to do videos lately, to be honest. So, just winter, man. Winter gets me. When it starts getting this dark out, my sleep, my circadian rhythms, sleep rhythms, freaking daylight savings time never helps, but I just get, my sleep patterns get all out of whack. I go to bed at like 8, wake up at freaking 3 in the morning, and hate it. I don't like the dead of winter. I like winter, I just don't like the dark. I like snow, but it throws me out of whack. I just get more like introspective during the winter. Don't want to talk to as many people. Don't want to record as many videos. Don't want to do as much. I like the winter. I want to hibernate and hermit. So it is what it is. I'll be more active. Yeah, I got. I'll record a whiteboard video tomorrow. I'll record a whiteboard video on drugs. How about that? Talk about the marijuana rescheduling. Cool, guys. All right. I'm gonna head out. Appreciate y'all for being here. You cool. You cool. Appreciate you guys. I will see you in the morning on Pilled if you want to come hang out, or on Friday. Take care.